Have you ever come across a stadium carrying a name of a number? We all see stadiums in various personalities' name, but in this FIFA World Cup 2022 at Qatar, there is a stadium by the name 974 Stadium. How did the name come about? What are the other interesting bits about that stadium? Come, let's see. Now, what is special about this stadium? Do you know this is world's first temporary FIFA World Cup football stadium ever. There has never been a temporary football stadium in the history of World Cups. There have been instances of temporary stands before, but never a full stadium. This is the first time an entire World Cup stadium has been built for temporary purpose. See, there have been instances of temporary stands in the past. For instance, in 2013, in England, they constructed a temporary stand. Likewise, in 2018, Russia also constructed temporary stands in its existing football stadium. But a full stadium itself temporary, this is the first time. Why do they even build temporary stadiums and stands? You know, FIFA has a rule that any World Cup stadium to host a football World Cup match should have a minimum 35,000 seats. Many stadiums do not have so many seats, and therefore to accommodate additional seats, they build temporary stands so that they can qualify for the football World Cup matches. Many football stadiums do not have that capacity, and therefore they build temporary stands so that the stadium is eligible to host football World Cup matches. But why the name 974? Now think, what is the ISD code for Qatar? Guess. You guessed it right, 974. Another interesting trivia about the stadium, the same number 974. The whole stadium's base was built from 974 shipping containers. For instance, for the 2014 FIFA World Cup, Brazil built a stadium at a cost of around $200 million. In Indian rupee terms, it's around 1,500 crores plus. And you know what? It hosted exactly 4 matches in that World Cup, not more than that. Many of the stadiums are not economically viable at all. For instance, the Brazil built a stadium at a cost of around $200 million when they were hosting 2014 FIFA World Cup. And you know what? That stadium hosted exactly 4 World Cup matches packed to full capacity. After the World Cup was over, there were not many takers at all. The stadiums are not filling up to that extent. And it was not viable to operate such large stadiums. And subsequently, the Brazilian government sold that stadium to private parties. This is where temporary stadiums comes into picture. They are less expensive to set up and easy to dismantle, so that you don't have to invest huge amounts of money in what may not be used for long. Another interesting bit, you know what? Now there is a trend of multi-purpose sporting stadiums across the world. One notable thing that I can think of immediately is the Melbourne Cricket Ground. How many of you know that the Melbourne Cricket Ground is also host for various rugby matches? In fact, it hosts more number of rugby matches than cricket matches. You know why? Rugby matches attract more amount of crowd. Okay, if they are playing rugby matches, what do they do with the cricketing pitch? Melbourne is probably world's first drop-in pitch stadium. Before every cricket season, they drop in the cricketing pitch using a crane into the middle of the stadium, and once the cricket season is over, they take out the pitch and store it elsewhere. Do you know that the Melbourne Cricket Ground has also hosted other sports, not just rugby and cricket? So what will they do with the 974 stadium after the FIFA World Cup is over? They will dismantle the entire stadium, and in fact 6 months down the line, you won't even see the stadium at Qatar. So what will do with that? There is already a proposal to dismantle the entire stadium and use it for a subsequent World Cup. If you come across more such interesting bits and pieces about the 974 stadium, please do share them in the comment section below.